homework reviews.
Yes, homework reviews first. Look, I even got the colors set up and everything.
Look at that, I'm so proud of you.
I wanted to do the homework first, just because we're going to do our reviews, and it's going to be all great and dandy, and then we're going to give our new ones, and then you're going to be like, question mark, and I'm going to be like, exclamation point. You're going to be like, ah. And then we're going to have a new discussion about something else. So I got a little bit of a curveball, but I want to do homework reviews on the Twitch view. If this makes it in Twitch, we do the whole video and we just splice it on up. So I'm trying to convince her to go outside of her boundaries to be able to do this.
Okay. We can do homework reviews first. So, what did you think of Hidden Figures?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start it off now. So Hidden Figures I actually watched today because I like being able to watch the movies right before we do our videos, mainly because it's the freshest on my mind. That's Kevin Costner, right? I'm bad with names. So that's Kevin Costner, right? He did awesome. I really liked his character. I really liked his character through. And I'm not going to lie, some people may hate me about this, but when the three main actresses, the three black women in this, after I learned their personalities, which you learn it pretty fucking quick, I thought Alvin and the Chipmunks. Because you got Alvin, which is the sassy one, which I really liked her, and we'll get into her. The one with the mouth on her. You got Theodore, which is actually the main character of the story, incredibly intelligent, natural. And then Simon. No, wait, Simon's the intelligent one, right? Yeah. So Simon, I thought Simon was the intelligent through. And then you had Theodore, which is the little bit, don't judge me, the little bit more of a heavy-set one, but also specialized in specific things. Yeah. Intelligent enough, yes. May have said the things that needed to be said in the group. You know what I'm saying? The feelings. Okay. So she was Theodore's kind of the mama chipmunk and the mama bear.
Yeah, that's Octavia Spencer.
Okay, gotcha. Mama, right?
Mama bear.
I didn't even mean for it to come out that way. I like how it set it up because they were like, shit, the cops. Like, this is not going to go south. I mean, this is going to go south on this. And then they were like, we're fucking NASA, and which do you hate more? Are you more racist, or do you hate the Russians more? And the guy was like, fuck the Russians. Let's roll. So they get all in there and everything. And I really liked how it seemed like... Was that Reese Witherspoon, by the way? The supervisor lady?
No,
it looked like
Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, yeah,
Kirsten Dunst from the first Spider-Man series.
That's it. No, I get it mixed up. Yeah. As long as it's not Drew Barrymore. So Kirsten Dunst, she filled out a little bit in her cheeks. I don't know if for that role or she just had a kid or something, but I recognized her and I was like, is that like her mom or something? I couldn't really tell.
Well, you gotta think, probably the last time you saw her is when she was 22 and playing Mary Jane in Spider-Man.
Yeah, she was
and now
dripping
she's
wet,
probably like
kissing Spider-Man upside down.
Yes, and now she's like, I think she's, late 30s, and she probably has a kid, has grown up.
No,
you're not looking at her. I love how you're describing every female in this movie so far as a chipmunk, or she filled out.
I thought that Alvin and the Chipmunks has been successful for many years, mainly because of the chemistry between the three brothers, and they felt like sisters. Not just saying that, like actual family.
Yeah,
they did. I really liked the intelligence that she had. In the beginning, she seemed like kind of really passive and everything, real calm, but it was kind of...
The main character?
Yes, the main character. I'm horrible with all the names, but the main character, as she was...
Her name was Catherine in the movie.
Yes, Catherine. So,
and it's Taraji B. Henson? Mm-hmm. Henson, Taraji B. Henson.
When she got to the point where the guy's, Kevin Costner's character is just like, where the fuck you going every day for 40 minutes? And she just snapped. She's dripping wet every day. She's like, look, I gotta fucking piss because you guys don't have a pisser that I can use on this side of the campus. So I gotta go a mile down the road and back every day. And on top of that, I've been staying here so much that the only thing I have in my system is coffee. So I gotta fucking piss. So I really like how the trust built with her and Glenn. Especially with him saying, I fucking trust her. She was pushing enough saying, look, I'm good at what I do. Once she got that little bit of trust, she was able to apply on top of that. The main character, or one of the main characters from Big Bang Theory, I thought his role was pretty good because he was just kind of that dickhead that's like, this is my place, this is my house, this is my shit, this is how it goes. And
this is the way it's always been, and we don't need
that's
to
my
change
seat.
it.
That's
Why
my
would we
seat.
change
That's my
it?
seat. That's my
That's
seat.
my seat.
So I liked his character as well, not because I liked the character, but because it was a good contrast to the situation.
It needed it, yeah.
Right. I got emotional at one point. I knew
it.
Your face. I knew. I was watching your face just now. I just stared at your face, and I was like, she's gonna smile. I got emotional, but guess what part I got emotional to?
Oh God, the kids. The kids. Was that right?
It's too broad of a statement. You could say, oh, the second half of the movie. You got to give me something. What scene did I?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I was right with the kids. So tell me.
The proposal. When she got home after working her fucking ass off, and the guy that at first was like, he may have said a line at that church party that kind of got under her skin a little bit, but he realized, wow, she's fucking intelligent. I don't like this woman. And he kept on and kept on and kept on. And when he had the proposal, she sat down, and the kids are all happy and jittery, and the mom's like to say my place to say shit. And he comes in, and she sees the box, and it was I got emotional on that. I got a little tear in my eye. Don't tell mom or anybody else. I'm gonna lose some credibility there.
That was Mahershala Ali, who's going to be playing Blade.
Awesome.
Two-time Academy Award winner.
Awesome. Yep. Okay. So I already liked him. I thought
great cast.
Yeah, no, it was good through and through. The movie was good. There were a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. This is based on the true story, which you always got to play loose with that of how much is actually true. I really liked how, and I'm sorry, but I really liked how Theodore was like, this IBM machine is going to replace our job. So you know what? I'm going to learn everything about coding. Straight up. Right. Take the book from the library because she pays fucking taxes. So technically it's her fucking book. So she stole the book, which I was happy for, and learned coding. And then when they were having the issues, she went behind their backs and just started working on it. And they realized, okay, she kind of knows what she's talking about. And then on top of that, she had already pre-trained her entire group because she's the mama bear. Basically, I'm not going to just take care of myself. I'm going to take care of everybody on this. So
but that's the thing. Like she had to, not just because she was female and she's black and nobody was gonna.
She knew
give
what
her
was
a chance.
replacing her.
She had to.
She knew what was replacing her.
She was smart enough to realize that she had to do this. If she didn't do this, she wouldn't have a job.
Yes.
Nobody was gonna take care of her.
I like that she became supervisor too. And that whole powerful moment when they're all walking out, they're like, "We're gonna go run this shit." I'm not gonna lie. And they walked out of those doors, and their whole line of people all going down to the IBM. I go, I remember that scene from Avengers Endgame. All the women getting together and everything. It was, I liked it because they walked in, and it was because the guys that were there trying to work on it weren't getting paid until they got the shit working. I really liked how when they walked in, all you heard was like the head guy there go, "Oh, hey," like a sigh of relief, like, "Please, Jesus, save us." Go, take it. I trust you. You know what the fuck you're doing. I like that as well. So I mean, all of them. The payoff in the end, I really like the part where he's going to the rocket. He's like, I want her to check the numbers. And he had already let her go. Yep. And she goes up to the door and hands him the numbers, and they shut the door in her face, and she stands there. And like, you got to have a payoff here. So she turns around and starts walking away, and Kevin Costner's character comes to the door and is like, hey, come on. Here's your badge. And I'm like, damn right, get her fucking in there. So she gets in, and he's just like, yeah, as long as she checked the numbers, I fully trust it. Went up, had a little bit of a problem, and everything worked out smooth on there, and he's just like, yeah.
Now, I hope I'm remembering this right, but at the end, don't they have a montage of the real women? Like
I was going to bring that up as well.
Real women? Okay.
Yes, mainly because I really like movies that, and I called it because I wanted it to happen. Deep down in me, I wanted to see the actual characters themselves. And what they looked like, and a little bit of a biography. And they were married 56 years, even though the ring only lasted 52 for his parents. So I mean, I really enjoyed the little details at the end. It's kind of like an after credit scene that really paid off for historical moments. Yep. So I enjoyed the kind of bow on the top of that. But it was a solid movie. I didn't, like, literally at one point, Mary and I were watching it. We're sitting there watching the movie, and I wanted to get up and have a cigarette. And I'm not gonna lie, I pirated the shit out of this. And you know those pirate sites where if you click on a thing, like 15 pop-ups happen. I got pop-up blocker, but it locks the movie and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I'm sorry, hon, I'm not pausing it. So I changed it to my wireless headset, and I went outside and had a smoke and kept listening to the movie.
Oh my god!
And she's sitting there watching it in silence, and then I came back in, and I
thought you were about to say, you know, I passed up on my cigarette and watched the movie, and I was going to be like, I'm so proud of you.
No, I kept on going.
I'm not proud of you.
I kept on going. But it was during the scene where the cosmonaut, the Russian, went up in space, and they're like, okay, well, they're beating us up there, and everybody go ahead and call your families because we're working overtime. I'll start with mine. And it was basically a montage of how hard they're working, so it was a perfect opportunity to do so. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. It's nothing that I didn't want to miss anything. I was excited about it going into it. I got a little bit more out of it than what I thought I would going into it. So I enjoyed it.
I'm so glad.
Grading wise, for me, because I am a ABC student here. Well, I'm a C student in real life.
Well, I was gonna say.
Shut the fuck up.
You're not AB.
Shut up. I would give it a C plus as well.
I was really hoping I'd get a B this time.
I'm telling you, B's are bravo. This was a good movie, and it's one that I enjoy, but it's not one that I'm just gonna.
You are too hard. You
I
are
am
way too hard.
That's what the ladies tell me.
This is like, oh my god, that's disgusting. And I'm sure nobody has ever said that. But anyways, let's move on from that. You're way too. That's too rough on the
grading.
I think.
No, no. You see it as rough because your grading is looser. I see it as a solid grade.
I think you should. I think it should have been I think you should have given it a B.
You can give it a B all you want. I didn't hate the movie. Hating the movie is an F. An enjoyable experience is a D. A good movie is a C. An amazing movie is a B. And one that I will turn on and waste all of my data watching in 4K resolution, whether it's through Comcast or through my T-Mobile hotspot. That is an A.
Fine.
So I'm telling you right now, I may have hard grading, but it also, when I give that B or an A, you know I fucking mean it deep down. So don't hate on me too much. I enjoyed the movie. It was good. So I want to hear your experience now, young lady.
So I had Fallen. You gave me another 90s movie. This was 1998. Young Denzel Washington, John Goodwin. What was his name? The other guy. I forget. He plays President Snow in the Hunger Games, and I forget the actor's name.
You're better than me on those. On names, yeah.
So, I knew what to expect because 90s movies, I feel like they give a lot away. They gave a lot away in the trailer. Like when I watched that trailer,
and I said the same.
I kind of knew, and I kind of knew where it was going. But watching the movie, I very much enjoyed knowing the premise of it, that basically this guy has basically a demon spirit in him, and after he dies, that demon spirit goes into somebody else, and then you can pass that demon spirit along by touch. So he's just, anytime he touches somebody, that demon spirit goes into that next person.
I'll skip the jump.
Yeah, so this Denzel's character Hobbes, which I'm sorry, every time they said his name, all I can think of is The Rock. That's every time they said Hobbes, I'm like, The Rock, what movie am I watching? But I love the way they set it up. I love his the fact that he had his brother who had some issues. Was his brother like autistic or like some kind of mental health issues? He could still function. He just needed additional support. But he had his brother living with him and his nephew, and I love that relationship that he had with them.
Right.
And he thinks he's taking care of this horrible killer, and then little things like the killer used to call him in the middle of the night, and he starts getting calls in the middle of the night again, and then murders start popping up, and he's like, why are they lining up like that? And then the song that they randomly, he started,
is on my side. Yes, it is.
And the sequence when it really hits him is when one of the cops in there comes and starts talking to him about where he went this past weekend. He went to a cabin to go check on a clue that the serial killer had left for him or whatever. And he starts talking to him, and then as he's walking away, he starts singing that song, and then he touches someone, and then that guy starts singing the song, and the first guy stops, and then he touches someone and starts singing the song, and that guy stops.
When the demon leaves,
and
it's almost like they're like,
yes.
What was I doing? What was going on?
Exactly. They kind of forget. So he follows it, and he kind of realizes that something's not right, and then he realizes that this is the spirit, what was it, Azrael?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Fucking with it.
Yes, and because he couldn't jump into him from touch, so apparently he was maybe like more stronger willed or something. But from touch wise, he couldn't jump.
Oh.
So what?
I thought you locked out for a second. Continue.
No, sorry, I hadn't touched my mouse in a little bit. So he couldn't jump into Denzel from based on touch, because he tried to do that right before he died. Right before he went to get executed, he touched Denzel and realized he couldn't jump in him. So he can jump into everybody else, and he can fuck with him. He can ruin his life, and he did that to somebody else prior, another cop.
Yeah.
And that's when it started lining up.
It's almost like a game for it. I mean, you're a demon millennia old, so you're like, let's have some fun. This guy seems like he would be a trip.
And yeah, I mean, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to have fun, and so you see the pieces lining up. And then when he jumps in someone and pulls some random guy in the street, and he pulls a gun on Denzel, about to shoot him, he's like, he literally has no choice. He has to shoot this guy, this innocent person.
Yeah.
And then people start looking at him differently, like he's not a good cop, really. Like, what's going on? And then he starts getting framed for these murders, and he knows what he has to do. His own brother gets killed in his house, and he has to hold it together, get his nephew, get out of the house, and get somewhere safe. And he ends up connecting with the cop's daughter, who this exact same thing happened to him years prior. He connects with her, and she knows what's going on, and he gets to keep his nephew safe. And then he goes to the cabin where the cop had committed suicide, and it's at the same cabin. He has his great plan. And the voiceover, by the way, the whole time, you have Denzel's voiceover, and you're listening to him talk about how, let me tell you the story about how I almost died.
Yes.
And you're listening to him, and you're just...
That's how the movie just fucking starts, too. It's so great.
Yes. The whole movie, you're listening to this Denzel's voiceover, and you get to the end, and he has his lieutenant and his partner there, and they're gonna arrest him because they think he's doing this murder, and his partner shoots his lieutenant, and he realizes that's Azrael. He knew one of them was, he just didn't know which one. He realizes that's Azrael. So Denzel's plan is to... Azrael dies... He knows that he's going to jump into his body, because as a spirit form, he has more power, and he's able to, it's not just by touches, but in your spirit, he can jump into his body. So he basically poisons himself, and basically lets John Goodman, his partner, die slowly. So when he comes out, and they're in the middle of nowhere. So
that's the whole point of the cabin. Yep.
Exactly. So
nowhere else to go, because he can only go ahead.
He can only last so long outside of a human body.
It's one breath.
Or outside of outside of a body.
It's like taking a breath and going underwater. That's how long you can survive outside of a body.
Yes, and so he knows this, and he was like, okay, well, I'm the only other human around, and I'm gonna sacrifice myself because he's a good guy. So he poisons himself, and then John Goodman's character, he shoots him in the head, and he officially dies. Azrael gets out of his spirit, jumps into him, and he knows he's poisoned. He's like, holy shit. And then you realize that the voiceover is not Denzel's character, but Azrael's character talking through Denzel's body, saying, this is how I almost died. And I knew what was about to happen because they foreshadowed it twice in the movie. The cat. Azrael can survive in not just humans, but anything that's living. So in the beginning, or not in the beginning, but when he was jumping from body to body throughout the movie, at one point he gets into a cop because he's in a cat and he's looking outside the window and he's watching Denzel, and then he goes and the cat rubs up against one of the officers, and that's how he gets into the precinct. Now, when Denzel first gets to the cabin, he sees a cat scurry into the house. You don't think about it too much. Like, I didn't think about this cat scurrying into the house, but as soon as I realized that he could take the form of a cat, I knew it was going to happen. The voiceover did get me. The voiceover of him saying, like, of him basically pretending to be Denzel. So it ends with the bad guy winning because Denzel's whole reputation is gone. The police are going to find that. They're going to think that he killed the lieutenant and his partner and then committed suicide. His nephew is going to hear all these horrible things, just like the woman that he's staying with who heard all those horrible things about her dad, but she knows it's not true. They could technically make a sequel for this. I don't know if they ever will, but they technically could, because Azrael is still out there. He's still committing murder and doing whatever the hell he wants to, jumping from body to body. And you have the nephew who's grown up now, who could be trying to solve his, like, redeem his uncle who died and everything.
Do you recognize a trend between two of my top 3 movies? The twist.
Oh yeah, the bad guys win.
The
yeah,
twist
the bad guys
and
win.
the bad guys win, because the twist isn't just the bad guys win, because that's a big twist as is nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
But it's also that there's something prior, like when he gets in the cat's body and then you hear the voiceover and you realize it's not Denzel. That's amazing.
Yep.
When he opens up the truck and the thing blows up, you're like, really, is that the end? And then all the pieces come together. I like the movies that you cannot see the end. And that was when I first watched that movie. And again, it was recommended through Vincent or Drixel. And when I saw it, it instantly became one of my top movies. So I got to hear your grade on that, because every time I hear that, like, I'll whistle that song through work, and you'll see like 1 out of 20 people know that song. When they hear it, they look at you and you just smile and nod, like, "What's up?"
I want them to do a sequel. Like,
yeah, but how are you going to do it even a better conclusion than that?
Oh, I know. They'd give it a bow and something.
I wouldn't mind a remake of it where it's the same story told modern day. I actually wouldn't mind that, because I don't think this movie had enough of a success in the box office that people know about it. So a retelling of it with modern day actors, etc., on there wouldn't be too bad at all, in my opinion.
No. Yeah. But I think if you did do it modern day and it had success, they'd instantly do.
They'd have to, It's easier to make a sequel that's trashy than an original idea nowadays.
It's like, I want to see more, but then at the same time, I'm like, it's good. I don't want to touch it. Like, leave it alone. Like, don't fuck it up, please.
So after Hedwig and the Angry Inch, do you like this pick then? What was your grade? I want to hear this.
This was more in line with what I like. Even with the horrible 90s stuff in it, it was still a great movie.
Right.
I'd give it probably a 7.5. I'd recommend it.
Ooh. So actually only a 1.5 higher than Hedwig. That says a lot about Hedwig then. So you liked Arlington Road more, by far, apparently.
I like this one a lot, but I'm trying to be tougher on my
tough one
too, since you're being so tough.
I'm negative Nancy, you're positive Polly. Stop trying to take my fucking stuff. Okay?
Well then fine. Positive Polly gives it an 8 then.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a good movie. I would recommend it. I very much enjoyed it. I love the twist. Denzel's amazing as always. My birthday buddy. So yeah, definitely a good movie.
We both had solid casts this week.